Okay, welcome back for part 3 of our Unit 13 discussion of acids and bases. This should go awfully quick. In this video we're going to be looking at some examples of both acids and bases. We're going to spend a little more time with the acids and not quite so much with the bases, but at the very least this should get you some knowledge about some of the more common kinds. So here we go with Roman numeral 3. First of all, hydrochloric acid. This is everybody's favorite. This is the one that if you know any acid, you know that HCl is hydrochloric. This is the one that we use in our lab when we remove zinc from the insides of our pennies. Whenever you buy this, like at a hardware store, it goes under the trade name muriatic acid. It's used for all sorts of things. It's used for cleaning rust stains off of concrete. It's also used to bring the pH of swimming pools down if they get too high, if pools get too basic from too much chlorine. It's used in what's called the pickling process of steel, which is one way that they purify steel. It's used to purify magnesium from seawater. I'm really not sure why that's such a big thing, to tell you the truth. This is also the hydrochloric acid is the acid that you find in the stomach. It's used to help to digest protein. Second type is nitric acid. This is a fun kind. This is a kind you really don't ever want to get on yourself because nitric acid acts to dehydrate you very, very quickly. If you get it on your skin, it will leave you some very nice yellow blisters that will then fall off your skin within a day or two. Yeah, it's just about some of the most painful stuff ever, so try not to mess with this. Of course, nitric acid gets its name from the fact that it has a nitrate ion in it. Nitrate ion is an extremely important source of nitrogen for things like pharmaceuticals, explosives, fertilizers. So there's fertilizer, explosives. It is very, very volatile. So you need to be sure you keep it capped anytime you're working with this stuff. It will stain you nice and yellow as it's pulling your skin off your bones. Sulfuric acid, this is probably the most important chemical that's made in the civilized world, used in a wide range of things. You probably know it best because this is the kind of acid that's inside of car batteries. It's battery acid. It's used in making paper, it's used in making fertilizers, it's used as part of petroleum refining. Pretty much there's not any major industry that isn't touched in some way with sulfuric acid. It's a very, very useful chemical. Phosphoric acid, H3PO4, hydrogen with phosphate. Phosphoric acid is largely a flavoring agent. This is one of the two big flavoring acids that goes into soda. The other one, of course, being carbonic acid, which comes from carbonate ion as a byproduct of having all of that carbon dioxide dissolved in your liquid. Okay. Remember, all acids have a slightly sour taste, and so these give a slightly sour taste to your sodas. It's also used in making detergents. Now, this is not as much as it used to be. It used to be that a lot of detergents were very high in phosphates, but it was found back in the 1970s that all of those phosphates that were in used water from washing machines were re-entering the water supply, and they were causing the death of a lot of aquatic animals and plants. So a lot of detergents, pretty much any detergent you buy now, it will say contains no phosphates or phosphate free. It also is used in the manufacture of fertilizer. Acetic acid comes from the acetate ion, C2H3O2. You probably know it best whenever it's diluted and used as vinegar, but it's also, whenever it's very strong, used in the production of plastics, used in making pharmaceuticals. Sometimes it's called glacial acetic acid because, I forget the exact reason, I forget if it feels really, really cold when it's concentrated as it's like, you know, burning you, or if it kind of takes on a chilled, it looks looks chilled. I need to go Google that, or maybe you should go Google that because I'm just a teacher and I'm kind of lazy. And of course, you know it as the main ingredient in household vinegar, which then you take vinegar. It's a food preservative that's been used for hundreds of years. It's still used in a lot of food production. Anytime you've got sour tasting foods or preserved foods, odds are there's some vinegar in there somewhere. Salad dressings, pickles, probably think of several more. But the reason it's used in foods is because it is a preservative. It kills bacteria. Okay, very, very handy. It's also a great cleaner. We're going to just talk about a couple examples of bases, not go too in-depth on them. Sodium hydroxide, also known as lye. This stuff is a very, very strong base. It's used to get rid of organic stuff, so you can pour it down your drain, use it as drain opener. It'll basically dissolve all the hair and gunk that's in your drains. It's used as oven cleaner to burn through all of the gunk that's built up on the inside of your oven. It's also used in some places in the making of soap. You take lye and you expose it to some kind of fat or oil, and it will go through what's called a saponification reaction, and it'll make soap. Potassium hydroxide, KOH, believe it's also known as, gosh, I want to say it's called potash. I could be wrong about that. Again, go Google that. Magnesium hydroxide, though, if you've ever heard of milk of magnesia, it's like this really thick, kind of nasty tasting antacid, and it's also used, I forget what else, what the name of that kind of drug is. It makes you poop if you can't poop, all right? So, you know, that if you get milk of magnesia, Phillips milk of magnesia, whatever, it's got magnesium hydroxide as a main ingredient. Okay, it helps with stomach upset. Calcium hydroxide, lime water, CaOH. Notice the hydroxide keeps showing up not only in the name but also in the formulas of all those. Anytime you find that hydroxide ion, odds are you're going to have something that's a base. And that's it.